All right, well, we'll get started. Our Wildwood Celebration Commission meeting for Wednesday, April 19th. A welcome to everyone to our meeting here. Great to see everyone here in person. And so we'll go through our agenda in just a moment here, do a roll call, and I'll certainly extend a warm welcome to our new members. So let's first start with roll call.
Commissioner Slaughter.
Here.
Commissioner Helfrey. Commissioner Jailing. Commissioner Hudson.
Here.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Shrimp.
Here.
Commissioner Siebert. Council Liaison Garitano.
Here.
And myself. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so again, we do have, I believe two new members, right, that are joining us tonight. So we have Ashley Slaughter from Ward 1, I believe.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
Ward 1. So welcome to the Wildwood Celebration Commission, and glad to have you here. We're looking forward to you being a part of all these meetings and providing your insights, ideas, and certainly new ideas to help make the Wildwood celebration successful. And certainly the same will be, I know we have Commissioner Leslie Jones from Ward 5, is it? So, yeah, Ward 5. Okay, so she's going to be joining us just a little bit late, so we'll welcome her when she gets here in person. And great to see again everyone else here. So with that, we're going to move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes from the March 1st meeting. So at this point, I'll ask if anyone would like to make a motion for approval of those minutes, and then a second. We'll take that there. So we have, is that a second? So you'll make the motion, Commissioner Hudson there. And then if there is someone that'd like to second it, that's fine. You do not have to have been present for that meeting. Again, it's procedural to just make that motion, and certainly you can vote if you wish. Again, you're approving the minutes, not necessarily that you were at that meeting. So we have the second, and so therefore we will now ask if there's any questions or comments. This is the time related to those minutes. And if not, then if all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. Aye. Then if anyone opposes or abstains, please do so now. And with that, I see that we've approved the minutes, and so we'll move on to the next part of the agenda. All right. So at this point now, we'll move into public comment. And so do not have anyone here in attendance in the room, and I'll check to see if there is anyone online that would wish to speak. And if there is, we'd ask them to raise their hand. And so let me just pause. I do see our interim city administrator. I don't know if he's joining to participate or to speak.
Well, Mr. Chair, I promoted him to a panelist, so I assume at any time during the meeting, if it's acceptable, he'll be able to participate just like the rest of us.
That
Thank
is
you.
correct. All right. Well, in that case, then seeing none, we'll move forward to the next part of the agenda, which is 5, discussion of the 2023 Celebrate Wildwood event. So the first item is A, sponsorship levels and proposed changes, and I'll hand it off to you, Joe.
Well, Mr. Chair, with your permission, maybe not everybody knows Mr. Lee, and maybe just a brief introduction from Mr. Lee to the members so that they can kind of put a little bit of background with the face.
Thank you. I think that's a great idea. I guess I see him enough that I've already know him, but for some of you, it might be your first time seeing Thomas Lee. So he is currently serving as our interim city administrator, but he also wears a hat of being our economic development manager and also a role as a communications lead for our city. So I will let him go ahead and share a little bit about himself. If he's got anything for us with regards to tonight's agenda, or if just wants to say hello, it's now your turn.
Well, thank you, Chair Garitano. Appreciate
Just a
that.
moment, Thomas. Hang on. We're getting the speaker turned on. I'm feeling like you can hear us, but we couldn't hear you. So
Can you guys hear me now?
We're going to ask you. Now we're good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, Chair Garitano. Appreciate that nice warm introduction, along with you, Mr. Vunich. Do appreciate that. Yeah, no, I appreciate the honor of being able to serve as the interim. And if you have any questions, more than happy to help. I do believe that I might be able to have some talking points within the agenda that's currently proposed. So I'll be able to be here for questions and definitely add to the sponsorship component as well. So more than happy to discuss. But I'll turn it back to you and get to business.
Great. Now with that, we will hand it back to Joe. So go ahead.
Well, tonight, Kristen is actually presenting on this particular matter. Thank you.
All right. Well, then I will open it up to see if we have any comment related to these proposed changes on the sponsorship opportunities. And I see Thomas has raised his hand, so let him go ahead and speak. And then again, if you want to have a question or a comment about it, we'll check with everyone here. All right, Thomas.
Yeah, there was no specific. I was not I don't think the microphone was on for Kristen. I was not able to hear. I don't know if everyone else was, but it might be my computer. If it's mine, that's on me. But just making sure that mic's on.
Sorry, Mr. Lee.
Oh, that's okay. Appreciate it, Chris. That's all. That's all I had. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we will now open up a discussion on these proposed changes here. See if you have any thoughts, feedback here. So Holly, you're up.
I just have a question on for the additional 500 where you can sponsor a certain area. One, I hear in addition, do you have to pick one of the ones above?
So that would be if you chose the $1,000 option. Sorry
Gotcha.
about that. For the
Okay.
additional 500, just on the $1,000 option
Gotcha.
would be the portion.
Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't understand that. I thought, what? Which one do you have to do to get that? So, okay, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just had two questions, and this might be far enough down the field that it's not worth looking back at, but two things that I kind of thought might be missing. One is an in-kind sponsorship opportunity. So I think that we're so lucky to have such a diverse socioeconomic environment around us. So I just think that there's so many opportunities, especially with programming. I think about the new yoga studio that does family yoga, how incredible that could be to add that to our programming, or even some of our smaller businesses where some of these high dollar items might not be possible for them. So just wondering if there's a way that we could explore in-kind sponsorship, specifically around activities and daily and programming, knowing that it wouldn't impact the budget because obviously entertainment is so expensive. So how could we look into that? And then the second thing is a lot of businesses are starting to open up again. So we're starting to see people move in, just so exciting. But with that heavy lift of the overhead of a first year business, like, are these price points too high? I don't think that they're too high for the whole landscape, but is there a way to extend some sort of 1 year fresh business? Welcome to Wildwood. Here's a discounted, or here is a way we can highlight new businesses. Just trying to make it more equitable for some of our new businesses.
You know, I'm sorry if you had still something else to
Nope,
say.
that
If
was
not,
it.
I'm going to jump in. I do like where you're going with that, because especially for a new business, but it might be even for a business who's never participated before, you know, kind of creating a ladder up option where maybe you start off at a lower rate, but you're committing for the next year and it would be at the full rate or something like that. That might be a good way to draw in some new sponsors that we haven't seen before. So I think that I like the idea where you're going there, just to help bring in people who may need to see and experience the value of it, and aren't maybe ready to do it at the full amount first.
That 150.
If, Mr. Chair, if people could use the microphone, Mr. Lee can't hear if we don't.
Yeah, just a reminder, when you speak, push the button on your microphone and they'll make sure that folks on Zoom can hear. And then when you're done speaking, you can hit the button again.
I
Thanks.
think that the 150 might be a good alternative for the new businesses, because it does get them displayed on the street banners. And that might be a good way for them to start out.
I think even if there's just like some amount of communication, like, hey, if this is not feasible for you as a member of the community, we would love to work with you, whatever that means. So maybe they don't get all of the benefits of that $150, but I just think it would be such a great opportunity to meet businesses where they're at. And it feels like if we bring in our new businesses in a way that is like kind and compassionate to understanding their heavy lift, then we can hopefully see them at that $1,000 level in 2 years once their business is rolling, you know.
We do definitely, we have some in-kinds up at that higher level a lot. So we do have that, but we don't have, normally we haven't had anybody participate in kind at a lower level. So that's a good idea.
Any other thoughts, Holly?
How much is the regular booth cost?
It's $100 across the board this year.
Okay, so if somebody did the 150, they'd get it at 75.
Correct.
Would there be a way, like for somebody like me, like $150, I'm a realtor, I think that's great opportunity, but I don't want a booth. Is there any way I could like maybe donate that to somebody who was going to pay the full price? You know, like for a new business, you know, give them
Right.
my discount, something like that. I mean, you'd have to track all the people that were going to do the 150 and not have a booth.
Right.
But pass that savings maybe on to a new business.
Okay.
Who would want the booth?
What I would suggest is if that the commission wants us to explore that approach, we certainly can, and have it back to you for consideration and final action at the next meeting. And just, Mr. Chair, with your permission, to Ms. Slaughter, we do in-kind accommodations, as Kristen mentioned. For the most part, West News Magazine is one that we do that with, because they comp half the cost of the pull-out section that they do in that publication prior to the event. So that's a major in-kind. We've done it also with some of the businesses that provide services in Wildwood, such as years ago, Meridian. They were a big sponsor that often took care of the fireworks costs for the event itself. But certainly, I think with Mr. Lee and his background in economic development, if we wanted to do something where we could approach those new businesses, and I'll need your all's direction on what is a new business. Is it a business that's open in 2023, or is it a business that's open in 2022 through 2023? So something like that. And I also think that part of the idea, I believe you were saying, Ms. Slaughter, was maybe if we offer a 2-year commitment, you pay for 2 years, you get a reduced price. Instead of it being $1,000, maybe it's $750 or $500. So maybe there's an approach to get not only them this year, but to get a commitment for next year.
I think that is a great option. I love the idea of the in-kind, and I think that maybe we should, as you're going out with these sponsorship opportunities and marketing these, is there a way to market for people to approach you for in-kind opportunities? Because I think oftentimes we don't necessarily know what they're capable of, but if we say, hey, we're looking for in-kind opportunities, what do you think would be a good fit? And allowing the businesses to do the heavy labor of being creative and being surprised at what comes back, whether it's, an obstacle course from the CrossFit gym that we would have never considered being a good fit, but just letting them do the heavy lifting. And then obviously the commission and the staff deciding what would be. But just trying to think creatively about how to enhance the Celebrate Wildwood experience without cutting into the budget.
And we do have a number of bounce houses that bring obstacle courses, things along those lines. And certainly the commission pays for that service, and that's a major part of our budget, quite frankly. So certainly, if there's an opportunity to engage in Wildwood business that complements what we already have, because we're pretty far along in the contractual components with some of the major providers of services, I don't see why the commission would object to that. And certainly we can do everything we can as the departmental staff to the commission to make it happen.
That's great. I know that's a heavy lift on you guys to do that, so I appreciate that.
So I guess with some good feedback that we've had here, I'll ask you the question now, because I know you mentioned that, you have people knocking on the door already. Do you want to take back what we heard from tonight? And do you think that would work to come back next month? Or do we need to figure out a way to move quicker to finalize it?
I guess our timeline is really getting it done and then being able to order the banners. So that's where our time crunch gets in, is ordering the banners. But I believe we put on here that we would like everything to be into us by August 1st. So,
Or do you feel like, and I'll ask the committee this, like we've provided the feedback and then let you kind of finalize it and get going on it, and then you just can share back what you put out there? I think, that would give you flexibility.
okay.
Well, Mr. Chair, I was the one pressing for action tonight because obviously the more time we have to work with sponsorships and the sponsors themselves, the better off for the overall event. But we are having our meeting later this month than normal, and we are having our meeting in May a little earlier than typical as well, not earlier, but we are having it on May 10th, let's say. So we are only about 3 weeks out. So that's not too bad. I think we can regroup, take the comments that we heard from the different commission members and finalize the sponsorship list and have it ready for action on
Sure,
the
you
next
sure
meeting.
that's okay? I mean, if not, and ask the committee if you want to do like a conditional approval or something like that.
Yeah, it's just that, like I say, the sooner we can get information out on the website to the different sponsors, past sponsors, the better. But I think if basically we're talking 3 weeks from now. And I think
Okay.
that's okay.
But I think then at that point, yeah, we want, we just flip the switch because some of these sponsors need to budget and plan ahead,
Right.
and, we don't want to catch them. They may have to run numbers, get
Yeah.
approvals and so forth.
Right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So before we move on to the next item, do want to welcome one of our newest members here on the commission here. So welcome to the Wildwood Celebration Commission, Leslie Jones from Ward 5. So great to have you here. That's all right. It's all right. Glad to have you here. So what we didn't really get a chance to do, and now that our two new members are here, it might be just good to do a quick around the room. Just, maybe your name, where you live, what neighborhood or what ward, let you describe it. If you have a favorite ice cream flavor or why you like doing this, but maybe what's one thing that you really enjoy about Celebrate Wildwood, so that we could share that with our new members. And if you've participated, tell us what stood out to you. So why don't we start with, okay, I'll start it. I'm not going to put you both on the spot. So yeah, I'm Joe Garitano and I'm on the council. So I'm the council liaison. There's one assigned to this commission, and home is right here, Ward 8. So the town center area that is in City Hall. So I like to call us the capital of Wildwood. We have the center of commerce. We have public transportation in Ward 8. We have all the financial institutions. We have, well, no, there's some on the other side, I think. But anyway, yes, we have it all in Ward 8. So, I always like to get around with my fellow council members. Anyway, yeah, that's what I love. Celebrate Wildwood. It's been something that I've been going to since we first moved here 15 years ago. And back then it was a 3-day event. It started Friday night with the concert, had all day Saturday, and then I think it was all day, or no, Sunday was till about
Sunday.
noon or something like that,
Five.
mid-afternoon. So it was 3 days
Wow.
nonstop, and I loved every second of it. I'd come to it like the whole time. So it is something that really makes you realize why Wildwood is such a special place. Yeah. We're down to 1 day a year. We did experiment with 2 days. We did a combined art festival a couple of years back where art festival continued into Sunday, but Celebrate Wildwood was Saturday. So right now we're focused on, executing a great event. I think every event has gotten better, and the participation and attendance has gotten better each year. So that's why I like it. I love the parade. The golf carts are a lot of fun. So anyway, that's why I like it. So I will hand it off down to this end over here, and then we'll go this way. And we'll have everybody in the room.
It's on too. Okay, well, I scoot over by my name's Deborah Coleman, and I'm almost as new as you. I started like August, right before the right before the Wildwood Day. So I got the privilege of riding in the parade and all that, but I did no work toward it. So I felt kind of funny, riding in it, and I was so new, but it was quite fun. And when it comes to the parade, what I recommend is bring lots and lots of candy, and do not throw it out all at once, because as you enter the town area is where the most people are, and that's where you kind of run out of candy.
They come
after
you.
I felt so bad last year because the little kids were waiting, and I did no idea that I would need that much. So somebody had a couple big, huge buckets of candy for the parade, and I only had a few bags. So I'm loaded with candy, but it was a very fun day, and it was just fun to wave to all the people, and the concert was great. Walking around was fun, and checking on all the booths to make sure they had what they needed. So it's just a real fun thing to be involved in. And, I'm from Ward 6.
Holly, you're up.
I am Holly Shrimp, and I am a member of Ward 7, and this is my second year on the committee. So it's rewarding. It brings together our community, and that's what I noticed last year. I think the best thing was seeing all the families come out. So I enjoy serving. So thank you.
You've sat up here Or
Oh.
maybe in, was it the other city hall or?
I'm a recovering city council member, still recovering after 10, 12 years. And no, I wasn't in this one. I was in the other one. That's right.
I started out with the art fair when we were doing the art fair, and then the celebration of Wildwood. It was kind of combined there for a while with the antique cars and show and all that, the parades. So then I was off for a couple years and came back, and this is my second year with this go round, and it really has evolved into. I mean, it's always been a good event. The 3 days was really hard because it was hot. I think it was in August. So I think that this is a much better event and everything happens in a day. So you're not there. It's a lot of work, 3 days, especially for the city and everybody that worked for the city. So, and I'm from Ward 4.
All right, and before we'll come back to you, how about we go over here? So Officer DeGelder, also known as Steve, you want to speak?
I did not want to speak, but I will. I'm Steve DeGelder, St. Louis County Police. I've only worked out here 5 years, but before that, I worked 30 years at City of Creve Coeur. Been to many parades, and as much fun it is, it's a nightmare for traffic. But it's worthless.
All right, now we ask Joe. We're going to give him a chance.
My name's,
Everybody knows Joe.
well, I doubt that, but my name's Joe Vunich. I'm the Director of Planning and Parks, and I have the privilege of working for Mr. Lee now and with Chris and Stacy and others in the department in City Hall. And I wouldn't say this is my 27th year with the celebration because we actually stopped it for a few years and then redid it, and it's getting better each year, I think. So thank you.
Kristen.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Nager, and I am the Superintendent of Parks and Rec. And Stacy and I are a working team that handle the parks of the city of Wildwood and also most of the events. The children's events, we have early childhood, we have some senior yoga and things like Celebrate Wildwood and Music on Main and things like that. So if it's ever anything really that has to do with parks or an event, it's us. So thank you.
Love the Motown Review Band.
Oh, good. Good.
I'm so glad they're coming.
I live in Ward 6.
Stacy.
Hi, I'm Stacy Chansky and I live in Ward 4. And this is my second Celebrate Wildwood. I came in I was hired last year in May and went straight to Celebrate Wildwood. So I'm excited. I feel we feel a little more organized this year and ready to roll. So welcome, Leslie and Ashley.
Great, and then I'll ask Thomas if you want to say something.
Sure, yeah. Welcome, Leslie and Ashley, and just wanted to give a brief shout out to Mr. Vunich and everyone here, also Chris and Stacy. I know how much work I've seen it, firsthand. I know how much work goes into planning this massive, massive event, and with the amount of staff we have, it's just truly remarkable the work they've been able to do to get this event, ready and available for all of our residents. I think it's one of the things that makes Wildwood, and it really is a special event, not just to me, but I think to everyone here and all our Wildwood residents. So really appreciate allowing me to give a little input here, and I'm really looking forward to having a really successful event here in September.
Great, Leslie.
So I'm Leslie. I live in Ward 5, just over the hill. And what I like about it is that I grew up in a small town, well, Washington, so it's not really small anymore, but I lived there. We had Taco Bell, that was it. So it just gives that small town feeling. You know, it's easy to go weeks or months without running into people here, even though we're not that huge. But you know, that's a time when everybody kind of comes out and you get to see everybody and socialize. So it's a fun time.
Hi, I'm Ashley Slaughter. I live in Ward 1. If Councilmember Garitano is in the capital, I'm definitely in the country. I'm out in the very rural part of Ward 1. I moved to Wildwood a year ago, like tomorrow, and Celebrate Wildwood and Music on Main were some of the first events that we attended. Prior to being in Wildwood, we were actually in Washington, D.C., and I felt very connected to D.C. because I attended all of the programming. I loved doing all of the fun things that there are to do in DC. And I thought when I moved to the suburbs of Missouri, that wasn't going to be part of my life anymore. And I was pleasantly and delightfully surprised when I realized that the city of Wildwood has a culture and a personality and that they really pride themselves on it. So I was so excited to be able to be on this committee just because I want to be a part of the great job that you guys are already doing to build a community here.
All right.
Mr. Chair, could I ask Ms. Slaughter a question?
Yes.
Do you have internet?
I don't have internet, but I am so grateful for all of the communication that I've been getting. I'm allegedly getting internet in May. It was supposed to be in February, but you know what? It's going to happen. The Spectrum guys are out there right now. I waved to them. I've offered them lemonade. I'm making it work, but I'm really grateful for
Bake a pie.
yeah, I'm really grateful for the new website, the interactive map. I don't know. I about hugged Travis when that came out. So I don't have internet though. Do not.
It's coming though.
It is. That's what they tell me.
Hey. Well, great to do these introductions because it is a great group here. And we do have a couple other folks that are not here tonight, but Commissioner Charlie Siebert, he represents Ward 8. He and his wife, Susan's also served on our committee here prior to that, very involved in the community. So you'll get to meet him probably at our next meeting. And then Commissioner Vicky Helfrey. I think everybody knows Vicky. She's been around too, serving on various boards or committees in planning and zoning. And so she will be, I'm sure at some point, I think she's Ward 2. So you'll get to meet her. And then am I missing anyone or is that? Oh, Karen Jaling. No. All right. So she's over in Ward 3. She's also been part of the committee for some time. So yes, you'll get to meet her as well. Great people. All right. Well, thanks for allowing us to do these introductions here. So let's resume where we are. We've got a couple more items and we certainly don't want to keep everybody later than we have to. So we'll move forward. Selection of theme for the 2023 event.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the commission, each year we select a theme for the event and we kind of do much of our advertising and promotion based upon the theme that's selected by the commission members. In past, we've either selected things like our anniversary dates, 5-year, the 10-year, the 15, 20, 25, and 25 was unfortunately interrupted by the pandemic and we called it 25+1. We've also used special events that are occurring in the city in that particular year to be the theme as well. And tonight, there are no suggestions per se, but some of the major events that are occurring in the city of Wildwood at this time, not necessarily all of them, but as was mentioned with Ms. Slaughter and I, we are rolling out to internet to much of the underserved and unserved areas of the city, and it's a major event, and Charter Communications, or now Spectrum, is an integral part of that, and certainly could be a sponsor or a participant in this event, and could be the theme, something like Connected and Ready or something along those lines. We are doing a couple of major openings relative to our parks and trails. Bluffview Park is now complete, phase 2. And if you've not had an opportunity, we've added improved parking, improved trail access to the bluff, a lot more picnic tables and shelters, and I think created a really nice environment for those that like to hike and ride bicycles on our natural surface system of trails. Also, in Mr. Garetano's vicinity, just next to his neighborhood. We are completing a trail connection with a pedestrian bridge that'll link up about 400 households together, and they won't have to go out on Manchester Road, the major arterial, to basically enjoy each other's company and use the pedestrian systems that are already available there. And also, in terms of historic preservation, we were awarded a statewide acknowledgement for our historic community marker program. And also, we'll hopefully be reassembling the Essen Log Cabin in Village Green this year as well. So those are just some of the major events. Certainly, if Rick Brown, our Director of Public Works, was standing at the podium, he'd probably like to talk about roundabouts and curbs and gutters and streets, but I get the privilege of at least pitching my wares, so to speak, to all of you. So tonight, we are asking the commission, what do you think about a theme for 2023 and the event itself? Thank you.
We'll open up now and see if anybody's got any ideas. You can just raise your hand or we'll let Ashley go. She had her hand up and then we'll come over here to Sharon.
I brought notes. I love the idea of connected and ready. However, it makes me very nervous because I don't think that people will in fact be connected or ready by that time. And as much as I am trying to be gracious about the internet, I know that that's not everyone. And I would just hate to have that even be a part of the discussion on that day. The second thing is, it was a silly idea, but have you ever been to Austin and they have like the Keep Austin Weird? Keep Wildwood Wild. I think that's a great way one, I'm a big tree preservationist. That's why I just think Dr. Rambo is the best. So I love the idea that we're so committed to our green spaces and we're opening up so many green spaces and improving on them. And I feel like the branding is kind of built in because that is kind of a thing that people say. So those are my two notes. And then the last thing that I had was I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but looking at the theme for the parade, I don't know if historically those have kind of been tied together, but there were so many kind of wild inspired themes for the parade that I feel like those two would really complement each other. But my only like strong feeling is the connected or talking about the internet makes me very nervous. That's
Certainly, it is a topic that draws a lot of different opinions. I think those bruises on Tom Lee's face are from an internet customer that's not getting the service as quick as they like. So I understand completely. And again, these are just suggestions to kind of prompt conversation tonight. The decision on the theme is entirely with the commission. And
I think it's a great option for next year, and I don't think we should get rid of it. Because I also like the WWW inspired parade theme. I think it's an awesome idea, and I think it's going to be something so exciting to celebrate once it's.
sounds good.
Sharon.
I do like that Keep Wildwood Wild theme because I think it would be easier to make up things for the parade. I thought of Wildwood, City of Parks and Trails, because we do have a lot of those in Wildwood. That's kind of what we're noted for, or one thing that we're noted for. We also had the little small railroad, maybe something along those lines I thought might be fun and easy to do floats for.
Let me ask a question here. I'm trying to think back because I feel like we may have had a theme close to the Wildwood or something. Or did we consider something in the past, like maybe 2 years ago?
There was something akin to that. Miss Helfrey, I believe, was the author of that particular idea, but I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
And it has been, at least from my perspective, it's been a couple of years if I can't remember it that quickly.
I mean, I probably just because I hear it a lot. But yeah, I was just wondering if there was something close to that or not. But great ideas. Any other thoughts on this over here? Deborah?
Yes, I'm in agreement about the Wildwood woodlands, the environment. the forests, all of that, because that is something that sets us apart from everything east of here. They don't have that. They've did it one time, but they don't have what we have here. So I think that's something that we need to really hang on to. And I think that would be great.
Any thoughts from the department?
Again, we count on you being the creative kind of component of the overall process. And once we get your direction, we'll take it as far as we can and bring it back to you each month and have you help us refine it and make it better. But again, as I say, we were just trying to prompting the discussion, and any of these would be fine. And as Ms. Slaughter mentioned, some years we have two themes, one for the overall event. Those are usually the anniversary years, and then we do something different with the parade. But I think, again, up to the commission, if you'd like to have a single theme, carry it forward, not only for the overall event itself, but the parade, that's an option as well.
Any thoughts?
Chair Garitano. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You may go. Sorry.
I was just passing you the mic. I saw you motioning, so.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I did just want to bring up a counterpoint to the internet potentially being a theme. I do agree that could, not everyone has the same opinion about the internet. The one thing I will say is if we did consider doing a Wi-Fi Wildwood or Connect to Wildwood type theme for the Celebrate Wildwood, event. There's some creative ideas in there, first and foremost. My graphic design mind is kind of going crazy right now with it. But also, I think that it could bring a lot of attention to the issue for individuals that may not be in the loop or may not know about it all too well. There could be a trade-off in benefits, but also the drawbacks for the individuals that may think one way or the other about it. But I do think it could highlight, honestly, the good work that Spectrum is doing. And at this point, we have, a good amount of homes connected already. We will have more by that time. And also, I think that the idea of potentially getting Spectrum to, I just based off my dealings with them on a day-to-day basis, I think they would be very, very encouraged and very willing to do a large partnership on a plan like this if we were able to work that into the theme. But obviously you guys are the commission and it's up to you, but just wanted to add that counterpoint. I do think it could highlight some very valuable information, and we can even have a booth associated with it as well, so individuals could learn more about the project. Thank you.
I have a thought. So, not necessarily a hill I feel like dying on, but I think that yes, there are folks who are going to have internet by that. There are people who are promised internet, but I think that there is also Ward 2 who was not a part of the original bill. And if you ask anyone in Ward 2, they feel very passionate about it, about being left out. It just makes me nervous, but I think that you're right. I think there is a way to encourage Spectrum and be appreciative of their work. So in the idea of some sort of wild centric major theme, is the WWW internet themed parade float an option? So where the larger theme can be something that is more applicable to the entire city of Wildwood, and then we can highlight that issue in a parade, and maybe that's the theme of it. Maybe the whole theme is wild online or whatever. I'm not incredibly creative, but a way to acknowledge that this is something really big that's happening, but maybe not broadcast it in a way that could be discouraging to Ward 2 and people who don't have internet.
Yeah, and actually, it's not even Ward 2. I just received a call this week. I think Thomas Lee may have heard from the resident. We still have neighborhood in Ward 8 that was
Really?
not included in that. And so that's phase 2. And so I wonder if maybe it's more of holding that idea
Yeah.
until the project is done to make a big celebration, because it is an accomplishment. Just because
Yeah,
there are going to
there's
be people
sensitivities.
who may not be at that point connected. But I think, the other theme that was brought up tonight, which is just about Wildwood and our parks, trails, open spaces, I mean, maybe a theme is Wildwood Wonders. We talk about celebrating our nature and community and, highlight the parks, trails, spaces, the topography, our native woodlands, all the stuff that makes Wildwood a special place. So that's, possible.
Well, certainly, Mr. Chair, maybe with the suggested or the discussion primers that were provided to you, when we think of Connect to Wildwood, we're for the most part thinking about Spectrum, the internet, but people connect with nature. People connect with their neighbors. People connect with all kinds of things that aren't necessarily internet related. So maybe the theme could be Connect to Wildwood, and we build on the component of parks and trails, the things that bring people out of their homes and into the public spaces that basically create friendships and opportunities for different events and things like that. So Connect to Wildwood could be a lot, and it certainly then from that perspective, not even for the most part, discuss the internet access component that we're working on.
Deborah?
I was just thinking about that, and to show appreciation to Spectrum, maybe the thought would be offer them a booth without charging them, just as an appreciation to them. And that way we're really not trying to tie our whole theme in with the internet, that might be a possibility.
We're going to show $6.5 million worth of appreciation to Spectrum. So
The theme.
I would love to have them there, but I think they should be a sponsor.
Joe, I think Joe got the same idea. They've got a nice grant, federal money that we were able to award. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we are going to show them a lot of love here shortly. So,
Yeah, don't worry, they are well taken care of.
So maybe it's, well, the thing is that too, it's like, I think where we are is connecting, but then there'll be people that would say, we need to unplug.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a theme that takes into consideration both. It's Wildwood Unplugged, connecting nature's trails in our community. Something like
the proverbial GFI and the, click, unplug, and it's keep Wildwood. Wow.
Just for some historical question, does the theme typically impact the event beyond the marketing? Or do you try and, just as a skosh of my background, I work in associations and plan a lot of trade shows, like too many people at a trade show. And so oftentimes our theme ties into our education, ties into our dinner. So I'm used to thinking of a theme as like a holistic impact. Is that something that typically happens at Celebrate Wildwood, or is it more for the marketing and like a sub?
Gives a theme.
Gotcha. Right. Awesome.
Publications we do take it on as well. So in the instance, let's say Keep Wildwood Wild, the things that we would promote, the posters, the postcards would have something that would have let's say trees on it or something like that. So we try to integrate it as best we can into every component. Obviously the vendors, they're there to sell or to offer a service or do something like that. They may not emulate it as much as we try to, but we try to carry it forward as best we can across the board.
So do we feel like with us being in April, that might be something we don't have to necessarily finalize tonight,
No, what I'd like to do is, if it's acceptable to the commission members, we'll get all the ideas down that have been tossed out tonight, so to speak, and then send them out to you in an email, and you all think about them. And as they say, we're going to meet again in 3 weeks. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Chair. I
Oh,
did have
Thomas,
one-
sorry about that.
No,
We
no,
missed
no.
you.
No worries, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to bring up one other idea. It's a little bit different than the, Connect, but maybe it could be built into it. I do think that, well, not think, we do know that Wildwood has a very vast and highly participating equestrian society out here in our city. Maybe it's something that we do that highlights the equestrian lifestyle and celebrates them too. I know that is just a portion of the city, but I could see a lot of cool ideas where the horses are being shown off, and just bringing more attention to places like equine assisted living, equine assisted therapy, and R&R Ranch. These really big namesakes that you know do a lot for the city, and they take care of horses, and a lot of individuals are using Babbler State Park as as an area that to utilize their horses. And I think that is something special about this city too. When you get west of 109, you start seeing more and more horses. And I think sometimes I think some people don't understand the true the sheer amount of equestrian people that are generally interested in equestrian lifestyles out here in Wildwood. Just a thought.
Okay. Well, I guess we will come back to that. We've got some ideas, and I think usually going to work through them and figure out what we want to do.
If you were adept enough, I would make all of the suggestions little puzzle pieces and try to have you all put the puzzle together to make it work. So, but we'll get something out to you either hopefully by tomorrow, but no later than Friday. So you can kind of look it over, see what you think, and then put it on the agenda for May 10th, if that's acceptable to the chair and the commission members.
Great. So with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is the promotion and advertising for the 2023 event.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. As the commission members that have been with the group for a bit, advertising and promotion is always a topic that starts and finishes most of our discussions relative to the event. In some years, there's been not as successful promotion and advertising effort, but I believe in 2022, we kind of found our stride, and hopefully that was reflected in the attendance, which we believe was in excess of about 6,000 to 6,500 over the course of the event on Saturday. Key amongst that was we established a number of different steps that we would undertake. I think part of this success last year was the fact that we had a communications manager, Mr. Lee, and he was very helpful in getting us many of those over the hump in some regards. Those steps are presented as part of the department's memorandum, and some of them we already have underway. And so tonight, I just wanted to kind of summarize those steps, kind of update you on those that we have underway, and then those that are that will be underway here shortly. The first is obviously we've contacted all past participants, whether a vendor, an organization, a food court participant, et cetera. We've already done that. And as you will see in the update that Kristen will present here in a few minutes, many have already signed on, even with the increase in the cost associated with the event this year. Secondly, we use West News Magazine as our primary, let's say, paper or traditional media outlet. They do a pull-out section. Last year, it was 8 pages, along with the cover actually, the cover didn't have it. And for the most part, it's the 8-page pull-out section. They in-kind part of that, and we pay part of that. Last year, it was roughly $1,000 from our budget, the commission's budget, to West News Magazine, and then in kind of $1,000 back to the city. We have in the past tried using different television stations and radio outlets. We've had mixed success, but certainly that's an option out there. One year we had folks go down when they used to do 5 Live and be on the plaza, so to speak, down there. And then we had a couple of years a local radio station come out and do interviews prior to the event to draw interest. So again, we have a number of those things. Last year, we did the West News Magazine pullout section, and also a month in advance of the event, we had a save the date article in the West News Magazine as well. We use Silver Tablet Marketing, which is a consulting company that knows Facebook and Instagram, relative to my knowledge, inside and out. And they do those targeted promotions and advertising as we start the event and as we get closer and closer and closer. We provided you the statistics at the end of last year from the 2022 event, and I think you were very pleased with the outcome. We'd like to use Silver Tablet Marketing again. We're running a little low on our artists and photographers. So if you are one, plein air event is on May 6th, Saturday. Please consider it. But we're going to use Silver Tablet Marketing to see if we can get a few more artists and photographers for that event in May. But they've, I think, done a very good job for us relative to Celebrate Wildwood. We do post all public locations with information about the event. That's our parks, trails, trailheads, trail corridors, etc. The website is the hub. That's where we put all of the information, including the registration for different components of the event. The fall edition of the Gazette, which goes to every household in Wildwood, is typically it's the lead article and has a whole lot of information just about every aspect of Celebrate Wildwood. The commission has access to yard signs. We still have those. So if you wanted to get a jump start and not necessarily get in trouble with the code enforcement team, we have those available already. We provide posters and postcards that can be distributed by commission members. We have them at all of our events, starting with the summer concert series, Music on Main. And then obviously we provide them to businesses to place in their windows, promoting the event as well. And then again, last year, Mr. Lee was an integral part as our communications manager. I know he's got another hat to wear this year, but we're counting on him to helping us again as we move forward. Lastly, one of the things that was wildly successful was our scavenger hunt, as you'll recall. And we had just a great response to that. And we'd like to do it again this year with the commission's permission. So those are the 9 steps, so to speak, that we are offering for the promotion and advertising. And then, of course, the scavenger hunt being the 10th. And if you have any ideas, the proverbial, we're all ears. So thank you.
I was just wondering, you said the concerts, does someone come before the music and maybe talk up the Wildwood Days? I don't remember if they did that or not.
Mayor Bolin is our MC, so
Yeah.
to speak,
Oh, so he-
at our concerts. And as we get a little closer, when we have the back to school party, my recollection was he did
Did he?
promo for the upcoming event. But we didn't do it in May and June just because I probably didn't remind him. But it also just how early you start sometimes doesn't necessarily mean success.
The postcard is what got me last year. So as long as we do that, it was a great tool. So I really,
Great. Well, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, oftentimes we don't know what particular thing works or doesn't work.
yeah, I was very, like I said, we bought our house in April and so I had no idea. And when I received it, like it was before, I think it was August, I got it last year and I was like, oh, this is something. And so that was really great. I think it was very well attended last year. So I think that amount of marketing was perfect. I think too much more marketing, it might get someone who waited a long time for a snow cone. I think 6,500 people, isn't it?
We have 35,400, I believe, approximately. Yeah, Chesterfield is about 10,000 more than us. And so we're one of the larger cities in St. Louis County.
And I failed to mention and include in the memo, so my apologies to each of you on the commission. Ms. Jailing had offered a couple meetings ago that we were going to do a 50-50 raffle at our upcoming concert events and kind of focus on drawing attention to the Celebrate Wildwood event. So that's something I failed to mention, but we'll do something in terms of the raffle to ensure that there's there's a link there between the event itself and what we're doing with the concert. So just another tool we're hopefully going to use and is acceptable to all of you. Thanks.
Joe, do you need any action on this one here?
Unless there's something that you see that you don't like or something that we've completely missed, which is always, obviously possible. No, if you're satisfied with it, we'll continue forward and keep updating you on the things we add as we go through the next few months. Thank you all.
All right, so what else, Joe? Do we have anything else then under this on the updates or
Well,
Leslie?
yes, ma'am.
I had something pop in my head, so I'm afraid I'll
Sure.
bring it up first.
No, go ahead.
On the theme, just because listening to everybody's kind of got their special part of Wildwood. Maybe we do something like, this is my Wildwood. And then, I mean, we could kind of incorporate all the things, you know, the equestrian, all that. So just a thought. I just wanted to.
Put that on the list. We'll be talking about that at the next meeting.
Thanks.
Narrow that down and just decide which one goes best. So in the meantime, if you do think of something else, send it to the group here. Make note of it.
Yeah, I'll add to the email. If you have any thoughts between now and when we have the next meeting, please send them our way and we'll incorporate them into the list that we prepare as part of the memorandum. Mr. Chair, I just have, normally Chris would do this and I'm going to yield the podium in just a second to her, but wanted to kind of highlight a particular issue that's arisen that we're struggling with as support staff to you, the commission, and that's the fireworks. We received our proposal from the fireworks company that has provided service to us for the last several years. For the most part, they're offering us a 5 to 7 minute show for $6,500, which we're struggling with given the amount of money we have in the budget this year and the commitments we have for that money already. And for the most part, I do advise you of the concern. What we're hoping is that we can find a sponsor for that. But the other problem is that we face is 5 to 7 minutes isn't much of a show.
We did try to quote on the drones, but that was equal to our budget.
For those that are new, our former superintendent of parks found that drones are becoming very much popular in place of fireworks. He believed he found a company that would do a wonderful show for $7,500. Fortunately, he forgot a zero. It was $75,000, and we had to kind of backtrack and go to our fireworks provider. But obviously, if we want to do a longer show, it's about $1,000 a minute is what Chris found out, or Stacy today. So it's expensive. I guess.
What was it last year?
It-
Same.
Yeah, and it was too short, quite frankly. A lot of people were just settling in that had come just for the fireworks, and for the most part,
It was over.
it was over.
So maybe we need to advertise a little bit more when the show is happening or a few minutes before.
And this year, Britbeat was perfect. They understood the time frame to start the fireworks because we had advertised it at 9:15, done at 9:15, and we started the fireworks almost within 5 seconds of the conclusion of the concert. The year before, that group from Nashville, I would have wished they would have shot the fireworks at them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe.
I definitely think that finding a sponsor feels like an obvious fix, but also sponsors are hard to come by, especially at a large ticket item. So just thinking back to the sponsorship proposal, as we're talking about subdivision sponsors, is there a maybe second tier of subdivision sponsor where then they are being a sponsor of the fireworks? I think that's so much of Wildwood is part of HOA, so that just feels like the largest market. And that $1,000 ticket price isn't, I know what I pay in HOA fees, and I know that they're forever got tons of money in reserves, and that feels like that could be a place. My other thought is there any thought to approaching the firework provider and asking them to maybe provide something in kind, like giving them some sort of, whether it's, I mean, everyone wants stage time, but like providing them some sort of opportunity to market. I don't know if there's a huge
Yeah,
market for them here at Celebrate
Not like
Wildwood, but
not like a backyard.
totally just trying to think of like,
Yeah, we're giving them a lot of money. Yeah.
and that does feel like an appropriate like place for, again, not trying to give away stage time, but for them to introduce the fireworks, one, because it's
Good PR for them.
great PR for them. And I heard they have $6 million. So $6.5 million. And if you divide that up in firework money,
They can at least pay for 2 or 3 more minutes.
Mr. Lee has dropped off the call. Well, it wasn't something with the system here, but we'll debate that tomorrow. That's an excellent suggestion. That'd be perfect for them.
I would think so. Absolutely. We're
Thank you.
asking, especially with that kind of partnership.
Chair, I'm going to yield now that we have some direction and let Chris kind of finish off with any of the updates and respond to your question.
Thank you all again. This is our monthly list that we present every month so we can see how things are moving along. And we feel like we are moving along with the major components of the event. Mr. Vunich just discussed the fireworks. That's kind of at the top of our list, as well as sponsorships that we are working along. Bistro lighting, we did get the bid. I believe it came in yesterday for the bistro lighting. So we definitely want to do that again with everybody's approval for that. I believe the bid was in the same range as last year. So hopefully that will be okay. Our bands have been booked. Contracts are almost complete on those. So that is the Teddy McCready Band and Friends. And that 80s band will be our highlight of the evening. So that is moving along. Our venue, electric, restrooms, they're all in place. We've opened up the registration for the artists and the food and drink vendors. And so we already have some of those food vendors. We have 8 of those. Most of these are returning from last year. I think we had one more addition, which was Bee Tree Tea, something like that. That's not on here, that just came in. So we've reached out to all of them. We're still hoping we get some more food and drink vendors. We did, as most of you know, we went to the increase for all across the booths. So up to $100 for everybody this year. So we have gotten a little bit of feedback from the authors on that, who went from 0 for a booth to the 100. So we had a little bit of feedback on that. I guess that, obviously that was a large jump for them. And for artists, we had, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. Well, we do have the 4 authors who have registered. We have one government, which is Babbler. And we already have 15 artists and crafters. And 1 parade entry. So we are moving along. We have reached out to all of the former vendors from last year for this. And so we feel like we're probably just going to have to start pushing to get everybody back in. But we're feeling pretty good with where we're at with everything, all the applications being open, except sponsorships and things like that. And Mr. Vunich just discussed the promotion and marketing and how we're going to move along with that. So we feel like we have, all of the basics. We have contracts done. We've got everybody contacted. So we're feeling pretty good about all the basics that are in place at this point. If you have any questions, please let us know.
All right. Well, thank you for that update there. Any questions or any comments from anyone on those? All right, we'll see. We'll continue to see this list get updated as we move forward. So this is good. And certainly highlight anything to us that, we need to pay special attention to. Joe, you got anything else?
One item, and I apologize. Mr. Garitano knows this, but we, as the city, have engaged in a 2-year study with the United States Geological Survey. And they're looking at Cox Creek, which is one of the 9 watersheds in Wildwood, the most stressed. I say all of this because the team leader of the USGS study team and the 2 authors of the report that they're preparing for the city will be in town the week of May 8th. And just so happens that they're available the night of Wednesday, May 10th, to come to City Hall and do a presentation. Unfortunately, that's the same night as our meeting, and I would respectfully ask, could we move our meeting to either Tuesday, May 9th or Thursday, May 11th?
All right, yeah, I'll ask if anyone has any issues with those dates there.
Better be out of town Tuesday. So what Thursday would be better.
Thursday sounds like it's better. That's then May what, 11th?
May 11th, and it would be at the same time, 6 p.m.
Want to send an email tonight so
Yeah.
that the other council members can put it on their calendar, but it sounds like so far everyone here can make it. And then
I apologize. Like I say, it's the team from USGS, they're about 7 months away from completing the 2-year study. This is the first time they've been available to come to City Hall and do something in person. Certainly, you're all welcome to attend. It'll be pretty interesting. They're using the latest technology to basically map and characterize Cox Creek, the watershed, the creek itself. So it should be an interesting presentation, but like I said, of all luck, it's like we're available the 10th and it's like, oh, okay, great. And then it's like, that sounds familiar. So thank you so much. And I promise I won't do this at least this year again. How's that? Thank you.
okay. All right, well, with that, then our next meeting then is Thursday, May 11th. And so we'll look for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. So if someone would wish to make a, made by Sharon, and then I need a second, made by Deborah. So we'll adjourn then. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The meeting's adjourned. Thanks so much, and we will see you soon.